So a couple of years ago, I had bought my son a pellet gun, a pellet rifle. This is the Ruger Explorer, and it shoots 17.7 caliber pellets. And he has a lot of fun with it. The one complaint as he grows a little bit is the length of pull for the stock is really short. So I might add a spacer there. But because of the comb of the stock, it's really hard to, it's at an awkward angle to get the sights to line up. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to install a scope. So like a Ruger 1022, this is not a Picatinny rail. This is a 11 millimeter dovetail. So you can't use regular Picatinny scope mounts. I went with this brand, BSA, and I'll provide a link to the Amazon item in the description. So they come with, it seems pretty sturdy. You can actually still see through the mount if you want to use the irons, and it seems like it's good construction. Your typical 4 hex screws holding the scope in place, and to mount it to the receiver. And then there is also, at least in this one, a set screw there to keep it from shifting. Why only one has it, I'm not sure. So I want to go ahead and get these installed. And then I also purchased this scope. Again, I was trying to go as cheap as possible, and the scope I think was around $20 some on Amazon. It had a lot of good reviews, so we'll see how it does. But so first issue. So I didn't realize, to be honest, that the scope was going to be this large. I thought I was buying a lot more of a compact scope. The nice thing is it came with these free Picatinny mounts, which I'm not going to be using. You never know when you might need them in the future. But the issue is, because of its length, when I set it there, it's actually hitting the rear side assembly. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove the rear side assembly. It looks like it's just one Phillips screw right there. And I'm doing that just because, like I said, it's really uncomfortable to use the sights. And once the scope is on there, we'll be shooting with the scope exclusively. So let me take that off. Alright, I went ahead and got it mounted onto the air rifle. So as you can see, I did in fact have to remove that rear sight, and the only tricky part was making sure that I could still break open the barrel, and it looks like it won't, but it actually does break open. Hold on one second, let me just show you how close of a fit it is. So that's with the barrel broken open. I wouldn't have a problem moving it back, and in fact I might have to adjust it slightly because I checked the eye relief for myself, but obviously my son, his arms he's just different proportion than I am. So obviously I know that I can't move any more forward, the scope forward. So I'm going to take it out. I'm going to get this thing sighted in, and hopefully it'll be a lot more fun now to shoot now that there's a scope on it. And with the irons, we weren't really able to tell how accurate this rifle is and at what range. So now we should be able to tell to see what kind of accuracy this rifle has. All right, stay tuned. So I spent some time getting the rifle zeroed, and you can see initially I just stuck this on an older board that I had been using, but the initial shots were just shooting to the upper left, and you can see kind of how I walked them down here. That was just a stray flyer. And then, but I zeroed this in, I'd probably say about 15 to 20 yards. And so I moved back about 35 to 45 yards. I didn't really measure it. And you can see how the initial points of impact were obviously lower. But we were able to make some adjustments on the scope and get it pretty close to accurate, I would say, for this quality of an air rifle. So the last thing I need to do is just install some Loctite on the scope screws, and we should be all set. I'm very happy. I'll probably do a review on the scope itself. Like I said, I'll provide the link in the description, but for $20-some, I don't think you can really go wrong with this. It's 3x9. It doesn't have any type of parallax adjustment, but I wouldn't expect that for this cost, for this price of a scope. So very happy with it. We're going to shoot it a ton, see how it holds at zero, and hopefully I'll do another video in the future. And also, like I said, once I put a spacer there to also extend the length of pull, I think that will help the comfort of the air rifle as well. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions, leave any comments. Take care.